Crypto lenders can reuse customer collateral, and that hidden chain can break when borrowers or platforms fail. In the Rehypothecation Risks Crypto story, the pressure point is simple. High yield can mask the fact that the same asset may be pledged, lent, or deployed somewhere users cannot see. The risk is sharper in closed CeFi platforms, while DeFi may show more on-chain movement but still carries smart contract risk. The viewer should not treat the number alone as the whole story, because the useful part is who is exposed, what mechanism created the pressure, and which signal shows whether the issue moves from claim to follow-through. The opening read is therefore narrow and concrete. Asset reuse sets the scale, while repledge terms tells us what would make the next stage visible. That framing keeps collateral reuse tied to evidence instead of excitement. Rehypothecation means a platform uses deposited or pledged assets again to earn extra yield. Celsius and Voyager showed how lending chains can freeze withdrawals when borrowers default or liquidity disappears. That baseline matters because it gives the story a factual floor before any reaction builds around it. The strongest confirmed scale marker is asset reuse, while CeFi opacity adds the context that keeps the event from becoming a vague market talking point. It also explains why Celsius is central to the case rather than background noise, and why the timeline or structure cannot be skipped. Without that baseline, asset reuse can be misread. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Rehypothecation Risks Crypto turns on the mechanism. Collateral reuse creates counterparty risk behind the visible balance in a user account. A user may think coins are sitting safely on a platform, while those coins are being lent to market makers or placed into DeFi strategies. That is where a surface event becomes more than a headline. The mechanism explains whether the pressure sits in liquidity, compliance, custody, user access, product design, security, or market structure. In practical terms, the link between collateral reuse and counterparty risk is what makes the outcome matter beyond a single announcement or price move. That is the piece viewers can actually monitor. The affected side is crypto lenders. Customers can end up as unsecured creditors if a platform becomes insolvent after reusing assets. This is the practical consequence. The event can change how people use a platform, how traders read a level, how issuers design products, or how regulators evaluate a risk. The segment keeps that effect narrow because unsupported ecosystem-wide claims would blur the evidence and make the story less useful. The useful question is what crypto lenders can actually do or observe after this event. The consequence is concrete only where that group is involved. The unresolved piece is which platforms are reusing assets and how much exposure sits behind customer balances. That does not erase the confirmed facts, but it does limit how far the conclusion can go. Terms of service, proof of reserves, wallet transparency, and risk disclosures can reduce the blind spot. This is the difference between a strong signal and a completed outcome. Viewers should know which part is established and which part still needs proof. The missing evidence matters because repledge terms can change the interpretation without changing the baseline facts already on the table. That caution matters while the open item remains unsettled. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The next signal is language allowing pledge or repledge of user assets. For Rehypothecation Risks Crypto, that matters because that wording is often the clue that a platform can legally reuse collateral. If that signal appears, the story can move into its next phase. If it does not, the event remains important but unfinished. The clean way to follow it is to track that trigger, not to assume the ending before the evidence arrives. The final readout is intentionally specific. Repledge terms is the point where follow-through can be judged. Everything else is context until that signal changes.